Good morning. It's Monday. I missed the Sunday Social Security roundup, giving the list of videos that came out the prior week. So I am doing that now, a little late. Happy day after Easter. I hope it was memorable for all of you who are fortunate enough to find it meaningful. Um, as some of you might know, I didn't end up coming in here because I had my last day with my German Shepherd, Elsa. So, in fact, I'm keeping myself busy right now. I have her all ready and comfortable and well fed, and the vet is on his way. So, I can't really focus on work. So, I thought I would just get this out there for you and get that off my plate, so to speak, and then push on to a great week. So, here we go. So, we had last Sunday's roundup, of course. And so, we're talking about the week of March 24th, would be last Sunday, till March 31st. Okay. Which was yesterday and was Easter Sunday. Okay. So on the 25th, we talked about, oh yeah, the announcement by the SSA about some overpayment practices changes. Really good stuff. I would say the biggest one of merit is the fact that default withholdings to pay back overpayments is changing from 100% to 10%. That's pretty big. On the next day, Tuesday, March 26th, we had, oh, this was kind of a follow-up to a much older, like in the last year, but discussion about the non-medical review letters or messages that people are getting when it appears their case is wrapping up at the initial or reconsideration levels, I believe. Normally with the ALJ levels, you get that ALJ decision that tells you passed the medical portion. And then, of course, what you might not know, may or may not know, is that, of course, then it goes for the non-medical at home, but that's generally a formality. Okay, so on initial and recon, people get the non-medical review. It'll probably take 2 to 4 weeks, that letter. And common thought is, amongst us, that that letter is supposed to mean you prevailed on the medical, because there would be no reason to go to non-medical. But we're seeing all sorts of errors in that. That seems to be errors by the SSA. So I leave you with that consideration. You could take a listen. Okay, the next day on the 27th, this ended up being, wow, very, very well taken, I guess. Although some people maybe didn't like it, but it was the announcement that had just come out. I actually got my hands on it the day before it came out through some wonderful connections in that regard. And it's about another SSI rule that affects all SSI beneficiaries. And when I say all, I mean it can affect all. It depends on what those people choose to do or have as part of their regime. But basically, it had to do with the food. It's big for a lot of people that could use help and have maybe a way of getting a little bit of help without it hitting them in the wallet. The next day, March 28th, it was just a little share because it was tax time. And I don't know if y'all have gotten your taxes done. I actually did get mine done, except for my locals, and made sure my family did as well. I can't stand waiting to the last minute. I lose sleep. So sometimes you just have to give yourself a deadline way in advance, then you don't have to worry so long. This one concerned, since there's so many disabled people or people claiming disability that have to have a few dollars coming in and are able to do something, they just can't work full time. They do little self-employment giggers. It could be house sitting. It could be dog sitting. It could be Uber driving. All those things are considered self-employed, and AKA being a gigger. And I've come across many who don't know that that is what you are. And you, as a business, then can write off business expenses related to all the functioning of what you do. So we go into what those are because everyone will have at least one or two of those business expenses, guaranteed. So that can help you get below SGA if you're fighting to make enough, but you got to stay below SGA. You tip over SGA, you subtract those business expenses, you're under SGA. Okay, so take a look, see there if that happens to be something you are interested in doing or are doing. March 28th. Oh yeah, so two things came out apparently. Normally this is inadvertent. Oh, we did a follow-up to the announcement that the overpayment mandatory 100% was changing to 10%. Then came out the announcement that it was going to happen right away. No delay, except that it's not going to be automated right away because they have to have their little coders do things, right? Change forms, all that kind of stuff. So this little share was something that was provided to me about how people can go about fixing theirs right now and not waiting for that automation to take place, which could take, how much did they say? I think they said months. I don't know if they got more specific than that. So that's how you can do that today if you want, if the shoe fits. March 29th was our fraud law review, as always, on Friday. And this one concerned a Connecticut gentleman who, this one is good. He actually tricked SSA staffers and made a lot of money. Eventually he got caught though, which is the beauty of that. March 30th, we have that was Saturday. Step 3 of the sequential evaluation process. As you may know, there are 5 steps. We go through steps 1 and 2 the previous Saturdays. And I think the Saturday before that is the whole 5-step roundup. Although I think at the end of this, at the end of the explanation of step 3, we pop in the 5 steps so that you don't necessarily have to go look for it if you want to make sure you're covering all your steps. April 1st is today. Oh, you guys will see this one soon, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Yeah, so that's it. We didn't have the Sunday roundup because I wasn't up to it. We had a lot going on anyway with Easter, and we have company, and my husband had to leave Easter to go back to work because we have to put him in a hotel. We have to put him in a hotel so he doesn't have to commute 2.5 hours, all this time. Okay, that's it. Happy belated Easter, everybody. I hope it's a good springtime for you. I'm looking forward to spring, trying to get some stuff done around here. And I'm going to head out now for my challenge of the day, which I explained to you earlier with my Elsa. I'll talk to you later. Bye. So you just listened to the week's roundup of all 7 days right behind us and what those video tips were. Are you concerned if you didn't necessarily catch the ones from the week prior to that? Don't worry, we're going to attach it right here. Have a great week, guys. Bye. Happy Sunday, guys. I'm late here. I'm sorry. This usually comes out at 9, way behind the 8 ball this weekend. Okay, so this is the Sunday Social Security Roundup for the videos and tips that went out from the March 18. Well, actually, March 17 was last week's Social Security Roundup for the prior week, right? And then March 18th, which would have been Monday, we had, let's see. Oh, in what instances would you, as a SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance, if you're a beneficiary of that, when might you also be filing for SSI? And there are instances when you possibly would want to do that. That was Monday the 18th. Tuesday the 19th. This was information for giggers and the IRS and tax time. Giggers meaning anyone self-employed, really, as well as those that are self-employed in the manner of being a gigger. So that was Tuesday. Accidentally, another thing came out on Tuesday that wasn't supposed to happen. Well, maybe it was. It was our announcement about, I'm thinking, I'm like, why is there 2? I think there's a different day 2 came out accidentally. So looks like on Tuesday also, it was a brief announcement about the new membership options one may have. Nothing changes with the channel, but there are some membership options for people who want to support the channel and the mission that we have with regard to at least 5 underrepresented sets of claimants that can't seem to find representation, and how we want to do our part to improve that. And the benefits that being a member would give you. And mostly that has to do with more direct assistance or information from me on a one-on-one basis at various levels. So feel free to check that out. And by the way, if you press the join button, that will give you the descriptions of the different, I think there's 3 options. On the 20th, so what would that be, Wednesday? Oh yeah, this is when 2 things came out accidentally. Sorry. I don't know how that scheduling happened. This was a discussion about work accommodations. When you had when they're looking at your past relevant work, that's the stuff over the last 15 years. And you ended up getting an accommodated job because maybe your job recognized you were injured and they gave you a work accommodation, which, you know, generally they're often required to do under some of the other laws in the country. If that work accommodated job is now considered a unique job compared to the way it originally was, and it's considered a past relevant work job, you're going to have to prove that you can't do that accommodated version of the job either. So to learn more about that, you want to maybe perhaps bump into that video. That was on the 20th. Also on the 20th was discussion about when DAA, drug addiction or alcoholism, comes into play, how it can get a person who is disabled denied, and when it can't. So if that issue is part of your lifestyle, you might want to check that out. On the 21st, we just went over when you have an 18-year-old child that was on SSI, or sorry, 17, and he turns 18, the challenge he will have to be able to continue SSI when it comes to reproving he remains disabled under the new set of rules he's under, which is the adult rules, and also getting a financial checkup to make sure he's still financially eligible for SSI, which may in fact be easier than it was when he was a child. But everyone's got a different situation, so check that out. On the 22nd, that was Friday, we did our fraud law review, and this was a big doozy with a Puerto Rican SSA staffer who did bad. Almost $2 million bad. So check that out if you're into those little reviews of fraudulent crimes going on with regard to usually the Social Security Administration. And in that case, it was an actual staffer, not a fraudster outside of the employment scheme there. Saturday, we did step 2 of the sequential evaluation process that the SSA uses to determine if we are disabled. The Saturday before that, we had step 1. And shortly before that, we had an overview of all 5 steps. So those should all be able to direct you to any other steps that you might be interested in. I mean, obviously, I think you should know all 5 steps. So that was step 2. Step 3 will be out next Saturday. And that is it. So yeah, because today's the 24th, and this is coming out as a quick sum up. Anyway, I hope to see you next week. If you haven't had a chance to look at the memberships, please do. They will be supporting what's really an important mission. And if you click on the join button, there is a brief video that describes that a little bit. We have a longer video, but I don't think it's come out because I was hoping the short one would be more than enough. All right, guys, have a great week. I'll talk to you later.